Besides outright fixing networking, what changes would give tactical gameplay advantage over desync peakers advantage aggressive play? So I think a way that can be addressed is by essentially fixing the collision system in Escape from Tarkov. So I'm going to show you guys a game real quick called Ready or Not, which is a SWAT like PvE tactical shooter. It is, in my opinion, the most realistic and like immersive shooter compared to Escape from Tarkov, but they're very different games. It's a SWAT like tactical, like breaching into houses type stuff versus Tarkov being a looter shooter. However, the gunplay and the animations in that game are phenomenal. And there's a couple things that it does in terms of your player controller that I think would really be well adapted into EFT. And a lot of that is leaning. It is weapon collision. Actually, really just those two things. Like I think Tarkov could learn really well from is just their lean system and weapon collision. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. So the weapon collision in this game is really great for two reasons. One, it's very immersive. It's authentic as fuck, but it's not intrusive or awkward. It feels very fluid.
Oh, dude.
So you have a horizontal axis when you play games, right? So when your character's looking perfectly straight with not looking up or down, right? We're on that horizontal axis. So when I look below that axis, when I walk into cover, my gun starts to pull in, and then he goes to a low ready. See that? And it comes back up, up, up. And so there's stages to it. And he's at a low ready, and then he's completely a low ready, okay? When I'm looking up, it's the same thing. I go up, up, up. My weapon kind of starts to high cheek a little bit, and then he should go to a high ready. Just like that, okay? But here's the kicker. When you are leaning, right, on an angle, we'll do the left side here, left side peek. When you are aiming, notice how the gun moves, but my weapon is still interacting with the environment right now. It's still staying, like, collided, essentially. I can aim, and as soon as I get all the way out, my gun is already aiming. As soon as I'm already out, my gun's already aiming, right when I'm able to peek. Like, obviously, the collision's, like, a little touchy here, but... See my point? So I can go from boom to an aim right away, right here, versus in Tarkov where you have to clear, then aim. So that's like a 2, maybe 300 MS difference in terms of your ability to like aim around a corner and shoot your gun, right? Because of how collision works. Because in Tarkov, normally, as soon as if I'm aiming, as soon as it touches something, it unaims my gun automatically. And I don't have control. Where this gives you control. And you can kind of make little flick plays like this. And obviously I'm doing a left side peek, so this is a little bit more awkward. If we're on the right side, it's going to feel a lot more tight. So again, like I can aim, and as soon as I start walking in, I can still shoot over the top of my gun like this. Like I can wall bang around corners and shoot. I still have control, right? And then my gun's ready and up, and then I can unaim if I want to. But again, this collision is really cool because it has high and low ready systems that are immersive. And it also gives the player more control when it comes to aiming and maneuvering around tight corners and cover, which is where most of the firefights happen in all shooters, when you're leaning and peeking around cover. And whenever you aim your gun in Tarkov and it touches a wall, like as soon as it goes like that, you unaim, and it feels awkward as fuck because it doesn't feel like you can control your character. And so Ready or Not does this super, super well. And I think this is one thing that would add like a nice layer of tactical advantage to the game and, you know, encourage people to use, you know, covering corners a little bit more tactically. But it also gives a much more realistic representation of how just operators move and position their weapons around cover and corners. And last, it's a big nerf to long weapons, because in Ready or Not, we're using like kind of a short-barreled SCAR here with a suppressor. The longer your gun is, the quicker that this will take effect, meaning that you'll be forced to a high or low ready sooner. So that inherently gives a massive disadvantage to long broomsticks in CQB, which is something that operators never really fucking do. Nobody's bringing a 34-inch rifle into fucking dorms to clear. Like, that is the most awkward shit. And so, again, I think this is something that could be enhanced a lot with EFT. Lastly is just their lean system. Because if you hold Alt, you can sidestep and you can totally peek around corners and get a much tighter angle. Notice my left side, I'm only exposing my shin, my left arm, and my torso right now. You're actually able to left side what feels like in a much more safe manner. You can also go up or down too, so you have full control of your character while you hold Alt. So you can lean left and right, and you can like keep this, and as soon as you let go, your character resets. So that you have a lot more control in terms of your leaning and your ability to peek. And not only that, you can like look up over stuff, so you can actually get higher if you wanted to. So if you wanted to like shoot up and get on your tippy toes, right? Again, just giving you more control. And I think some systems like this in EFT would just enhance the overall playability and function of just lifting, maneuvering, and leaning and moving your character. In terms of how you control your weapon and how you lean and shoot. It's just like that gives you so much in terms of just feel and immersion and ability and things that you can use to your advantage that isn't just like guns or gear, it's just game mechanics. And you know, it's no different than being able to slow down your movement speed, which is the same thing in Ready or Not. You can do the same stuff. So hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys think that would be a really good addition to the game, because I think the current system with Tarkov where your guys just going like this, and like you've seen player scavs looting and their arm is like up like this, like awkwardly, and like almost like it's broken behind their shoulder. Like, I know you guys know what I'm talking about, would essentially fix all of that awkwardness within the game, because it really is an imperfection, at least in my eyes. Another example I can show you guys real quick before we get back into these raids is I actually recorded a clip, and I was planning on using this in a video. So this is short stocking in Ground Branch. So it's the same thing, or something like this as well. In Tarkov, again, think about how your character collides. He goes like this. He's just like, it's really awkward. It looks gross. When he's in the high ready or low ready, he's like bringing it in and bringing the rifle tucked like an operator. Like, this is what it looks like when somebody has their muzzle super close to a wall. And this stuff is much more immersive than the current collision system that we have in Tarkov by like a mile. It looks so much better. And not only that, it feels better when you play, because when you're working around covers and corners, it just feels way more natural and looks more immersive, feels more immersive. It's just, it's something that would just enhance the gameplay a ton and make the gun, you know, just the gunplay in general feel way more immersive than it already is.